Welcome to the coolest starter for Hoenn's best team, Sceptile. I've actually been looking forward to making this one for a while now, as it's my favorite Hoenn starter. This team is different than our typical best teams we see in Hoenn, but you may see a few familiar faces here, and some new ones as well. Before I unveil the best team for Sceptile though, I want to get into some mechanics that go into making the best team, and some mechanics I don't usually allow in the best team. If you guys have been watching this series for a while now, it should make perfect sense to you, but if you're new to it, let me explain. First and foremost, the best team is a team of 6 Pokemon revolving around a certain starter choice. This team is the best possible team revolving around that said starter doing well against all the important battles in-game, for instance the gym leaders, rivals, evil teams, Elite Four, and the champion. In addition for the 6 members of the team, I also provide a moveset for all 6 members. As always, I don't include post-game tutor moves or egg moves, however I do allow TM moves before post-game. That's pretty much all there is to it for what consists of a best team. Also, I want to give a huge shout out for Birb for helping me out with this team. Go check out his channel in the description for dope Pokemon content and battles. Alright, let's get into the team, let's roll out. You obviously know the starter in this video being Sceptile. Sceptile is a great Pokemon, but unfortunately it is considered to be the worst out of all the Hoenn starters when it comes to an in-game playthrough. Grass typing overall in the Hoenn region just doesn't do all that great, and that's why Sceptile isn't all that useful. But for me, I still think it's cool design-wise, and its shiny is god tier. I understand that Sceptile is a huge fan favorite just because of its design as well. Sceptile also gets a Mega in ORAS, making it a tad more useful. That Dragon typing can be super fun to use, and it gets decent stat upgrades from its already great physical attack stat, special attack stat, and speed stat. I'm just gonna say it's more fun to use in competitive, but if you're like me and you love Sceptile for the design and the fun, then I hope the team revolving around it comes in handy for you. Alright, so a moveset for Sceptile should be pretty basic. When it comes to stab, Leaf Blade is your main grass attack, and its main dragon stab is Dragon Claw for its mega form. Dragon Pulse is a tutor move, so unfortunately we can't teach it that. For coverage moves, we have Dig to start, Earthquake for later, and then Low Sweep because speed drops, and it's fun for Watson if necessary. Starting off, Trico doesn't get Leaf Blade. Just use the earlier grass moves until it does. With all these moves, Sceptile does great against Roxanne's team, Watson's Magneton line, Norman's team, Tate and Liza, Wallace, Sydney's team. If you have the guts, you can use it on Glacier's Walrein and Cilios, but I wouldn't recommend it. Drake's team, Steven's Claydol, the Rivals Wailord, Wally's Delcatty, Magneton, and Altaria, and if you're playing Alpha Sapphire, Archie Sharpedo, and the admin's water types. That's all there is for Sceptile. Let's hop into the other members now. Next up, returning once again, is our second team member, Gardevoir. Ralts can be obtained pretty early on Route 102. Again, it may be a little annoying to catch because of its 4% encounter rate, but honestly, it's worth it. Gardevoir just has a versatile move pool and has pretty great stats like its 125 special attack stat, 115 special defense, and a pretty decent 80 for its speed stat. I've talked about how good Gardevoir is in like 2 best teams. I think you guys pretty much understand how good it is at this point. Now for its movesets, we're going to have a lot of TM moves, but they're where Gardevoir gets its strengths from. We have Moonblast, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Thunderbolt. Now for Moonblast, you're going to need to go to the mover learner with a heart skill to get it. You can get 1 on Route 19 or try your luck smashing rocks for it. If you don't want to deal with that though, you can always use Dazzling Gleam, which is given to you as a gift from a little girl east of the Berry Master's house in Route 123. Just make sure to use Draining Kiss until you get it. Psychic is a level up move learned by Curlia at level 30. Just use Confusion until then. Energy Ball is obtained in the Safari Zone, and finally the Thunderbolt team is given to you by Watson after completing New Mauville. With this moveset, Gardevoir does well against Roxanne's team, Brawly's team with Confusion, Winona's team, just be careful of Skarmory, Tate and Liza, Wally's team, Sydney's team, completely destroys Drake's team, Steven's Claydol, your rivals Swellow, Wailord, Breloom, and Blaziken, Wally's team minus Roserade and Magnezone. If you're playing Omega Ruby, Team Magma's Poochyena and Maxie's Mightyena, and if you're playing Alpha Sapphire, the Grunt's Poochyena and Carvanha, the Team Aqua admin Sharpedo, and finally Archie's Mightyena and Sharpedo. As you can see, this is why we grind for that Ralts. It can pretty much destroy any threat in the Hoenn region. That's a lot of names. A lot of you guys out there have been suggesting this Pokemon to me for a while now, and I decided, hey, you know what? Let's give Swellow a shot. As always for Hoenn, you can use Crobat too, and in my opinion, it's a great Mon and a better Pokemon. I sound like a hypocrite saying this because I always say don't use Swellow, use Crobat instead. Honestly, they are equal in terms of power. It really doesn't matter which ones you use. Plus this time I wanted to be different. If you really want to use Crobat, go to Best Team for Blaziken and look up its moveset there. But yeah, this time I wanted to be different considering a lot of you complain about duplicates. So here's a Pokemon that isn't a duplicate. Swellow isn't Staraptor, but it's really fun to use. It has high attack and speed and can be caught very early game. Flying Pokemon don't have a high use in Hoenn, but we need a flyer, so it really doesn't matter which one you choose out of Swellow or Crobat. The flyer isn't the main power anyways, but hey, guts can be super fun to mess with, so that's why I chose Swellow to be on this team. I mentioned Guts earlier, and it's only natural to have an attack revolving around Guts, being Facade for its normal stab attack, and of course Fly for its flying one. You can argue Eon Flute, blah 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 blah, but you don't get that until very late game. Use Wing Attack or Aerial Ace until you get Fly. The other two moves are Quick Attack for priority and Steel Wing for rock types. Steel Wing you get from Steven after you find him in Granite Cave, Facade can be found at the Mauville Mart. This entire moveset is well against Brawly, Sydney's grass types, May's Breloom, and Wally's Gallade and Roselia. Swellow is here for Fly mainly, and like I said earlier, Flyers don't really play the main attacker role. You can still have fun with Swellow though. I hope you guys enjoy using it. Next up, we have another newcomer, this time being the atrocious Pokemon, Gyarados. And atrocious is right, because this thing is a beast. You can get Magikarp in Dewford Town as soon as you get the old rod from the fisherman in the town. The Magikarp will come in at level 10 or 15, so definitely try your best in getting the highest level Magikarp possible. Magikarp, as we all know, can be kind of a pain in the butt to evolve. Similar to Gardevoir, Gyarados also has a really solid move pool, along with some great stats, having a solid 95 in HP, 125 attack, 100 special defense, and a pretty decent 81 speed stat. For its moveset, we have Dragon Dance, Crunch, Waterfall, and Ice Fang. Dragon Dance is learned at level 47 and is just great for increasing its attack and speed, but if you'd rather have more coverage, you can use Dig or Bulldoze. Crunch is another solid move learned at level 41, so just use Bite until then. Waterfall is given to you after beating Wallace, so you'll want to use Aqua Tail until then, or Surf, whatever one you choose. And then finally we have Ice Fang, which is another level up move learned at level 32. These moves do well against Flannery's team, Winona's team except for her Skarmory, Liza and Tate, Sydney's grass types, Phoebe's team except for Sableye, Glacius Frostlass, Drake's team except for Kingdra, Steven's team minus Skarmory, your rival Swellow, Breloom, Blaziken, and even Raichu if you decided to use Dig or Bulldoze, Wally's Roserade, Talonflame and Garchomp, the Magma Grunt Zubat and Numble, the Magma Ebon's Camerupt, Maxie's Camerupt and Crobat, the Team Aqua Grunt Zubat, and finally Archie's Crobat. For our fifth member, we have a veteran from the original best team returning, being Hariyama. Makuhita can be obtained fairly easily in Granite Cave, so there's no issue there. While Hariyama might not be the best member in the world, it definitely serves its purpose in being the Pokemon that can take hits and dish them out with 144 HP and 120 attack. It might have lower defense stats and it's pretty slow, but I honestly don't think it's going to affect Hariyama that much. And if you happen to get a thick Fet Hariyama, that will definitely help it against fire and ice types. Its move pool isn't half bad either, so I definitely think it's a solid team member. So then for its moves, we have Bulk Up, Force Palm, Knockoff, and Toxic. Bulk Up is given to you after you defeat Brawly, so you should be able to give it to Makuhita as soon as you capture it. Force Palm is learned at level 13, and Knockoff at level 19. And for the final move in Toxic, that can be obtained in the Fiery Path. However, if you want another attacking move, you can give it Bulldoze for the time being. With this moveset, Hariyama can do well against Watson's Magnemite and Magneton, Flannery's team if you decide to go with Bulldoze, Norman's team, Sydney's team, Phoebe's team with Knockoff, Glacia's team, most of Steven's team, just watch out for Claydol and Skarmory's Aerial Ace, your rivals Breloom and Blaziken, Wally's Magnezone, both Team Magma's Poochyena and Team Aqua's Poochyena and Carvana, Maxie's Mightyena, the Team Aqua admin's Sharpedo, and finally Archie's Mightyena and Sharpedo. Coming up, the last team member is veteran Manectric. I bet you that wasn't a surprise the most, huh? It's been here for the past two Hoenn teams, and I mean, why would it not? It's like Kanto's Jolteon. It's fast, has great special attack, and destroys literally everything water in this game. But Mythic, Sceptile the grass type, we are needed, blah. We don't have anything for flying types, and there's also the fact Tentacruel exists, and grass does neutral damage to that. Manectric has decent coverage attacks like Flamethrower, and even has a Mega too, so that gives it more of a standing. I've given more than enough reasoning to explain why it's here with the previous best teams. I think you guys pretty much know why it's here, so let's just skip right to the moveset. Manectric's moveset is pretty much the same as the last best team, except we are replacing Hidden Power and Double Team. The moveset's going to be Thunderbolt for stab, Volt Switch for pivot and stab, Flamethrower for coverage, and Toxic because it's fast and can dwindle down highly special defensive Pokemon. Against May, it only really does useful against Swellow, Wailord, and her Breloom with Flamethrower. The same can also be said for Wally, as Flamethrower is super effective against his Magneton and Roselia. Manectric's usefulness really shows though against Winona and Wallace, as Winona's flying types are obliterated by Thunderbolt. The same can be said about the majority of Wallace's Pokemon, except for his Whiscash. Other than that, all of his Pokemon fall to Manectric. Like I also said earlier, Manectric destroys the water route in this game, so with that being said, it's very useful for that part. 7.8 out of 10, too much water. Manectric also helps it against Team Magma and Aqua's Zubats, along with Maxie and Archie's Crobats. For everything flying in water, Manectric is your answer. Oh yeah, you can also Mega Evolve it. You can find the Manectite on the Cycling Road. Well, that pretty much wraps up the best team for the Hoenn arc and Sceptile Edition. I know a lot of Hoenn was very repetitive, but that's just how it rolls when you make the best team for Hoenn the first time using Swampert. A lot of these teams just fit the other Hoenn starters very well, and it makes it very easy to team build around previous Pokemon. I mean, legit, these Pokemon are the best Hoenn Pokemon for a journey. Also, one more big shout out to my friend Birb for helping me out with this team. Go check him out in the iCard and in the description below. He's a dope guy. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like shiny hunting, showdown battles, even Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Skies speedruns, Zelda, even Fire Emblem. So if you guys come down and support, I would love that a lot. Want to support me further and gain cool perks? Check out my Patreon. Fly Jubilee, Dan Leone, Lady Crimson, Derpy Poster, and Jarrett Ruiz Austin did, and I wanted to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbran, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.